Hey everyone, and welcome to another CBC Tom and Tom review. But this time we're doing Logan. We got to see an advanced screening last night. We're recording this on the 1st of March, so it's a little bit before everybody else is getting to see it. Obviously, quite a few people have seen it as the reviews are coming out. I'm not sure, there was a weird release with this one. I'm not sure exactly why we
Yeah,
got to see it so early.
there seem to be a few places seem to be getting it early. Some places are getting advanced screenings. I know here in the UK it's out today as the time of this recording, which is the 1st of March.
Yeah,
And apparently in America they're getting it on the 3rd or something like that. I'm not
something
too
like that,
sure.
yeah. But I remember when I was a kid, like I went to see School of Rock on an advanced screening and didn't even realise, and like people at school wouldn't believe me that I said I'd seen the film because they'd all seen the trailers saying what the release date was, and they were like, "You can't have seen it." I was like, "Epsom showed it."
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes films release funny times, but yeah. So we've seen Logan. This is going to be a full spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the film already, maybe don't watch this right now. Maybe come back later, unless you honestly don't care about getting spoiled. But yeah, we're not going to be shying away from spoilers in this, so you have been warned.
Yeah.
Uh, Starting off, first off, before we actually go into details about the film itself, what did you think in general? Did you enjoy it? I loved it
It was
personally.
really good. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely one of the best X-Men films in a long while.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because earlier in the day, yesterday, we recorded the main show CBC podcast, and they asked if there was any chance it was going to be one of our favorite comic book movies. And it's maybe still not in my top five comic book movies, but this is probably my number one favorite X-Men film as of this recording. That may change as I watch it again and again, but I fucking loved it.
Yeah, it had a really good tone, and the thing which I love about this film, it did have a very more serious, grounded tone, but at the same time, it knew when to be funny, where to be humorous, it knew when to be dark, and it knew when to
Mm.
be action-packed. It basically knew when what it wanted to be and when to be this sort of mood or tone, or theme
Yeah.
going on.
And it almost felt less like the Bryan Singer X Men universe, and it almost felt more like the X Men universe from Legion that's on at the moment. Like it sort of in tone. I think you could see these stories both operating in the same world, whereas you couldn't really see this story in X Men 3 in the same world. It doesn't really tonally they don't merge too well.
No, it is kind of weird. It's like this film took.
Take it as a standalone,
Yeah, you can
and it
take it as a
works.
standalone, but it took elements from all the previous films that's just come and gone and basically matched it into this tonal film that they wanted.
Mm. And I'll tell you what, as well, though, after X Men Origins, I did not expect to ever see another adamantium bullet. And we did, and they totally redeemed the shitty adamantium bullet thing in Origins.
Yeah, they pretty much they used it. They foreshadowed it, and then they used it towards the end. They actually gave it a purpose, which is kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, it was great. I was not expecting to see Hugh Jackman made to look young again as playing X-24. That was a total surprise to
Yeah.
me. I've been trying to avoid spoilers on this, and I've not been shy about the fact that I haven't actually read Old Man Logan, so I'm
Yeah.
coming to this from a sort of a fresh perspective.
And with me, I read Old Man Logan quite a few times, and it's one of my favourite comic books. Who's written by Mark Miller, I believe, off the top of my head.
I'm gonna have to pick it up at some point soon and
It's
read it.
good, but it's nothing like the film. It just takes elements from it, but it's not all
Yeah,
the same.
because I've heard like about Old Man Logan. People have told me about like Hulk's children, the Hills
Oh,
of
the
Eyes
whole
children.
stuff in Old Man Logan is the most screw up stuff in there, but there's a lot
That
of
sort of thing I'm interested to read. So
yeah,
that's what's going to make me pick up the comic book.
yeah. But no, like I said, X-23 had nothing to do with Old Man Logan either. She's more of her own continuity. Well, it's weird. X-23, she's the best way to describe her is like she started out in cartoons like Harley Quinn did. Because
Right.
originally her first appearance was in. You remember the X-Men cartoon Evolution?
I never watched Evolution. I think I
Okay.
started to, but yeah, it's not one that I kept up with. I liked the '90s, the
I
earlier
can't
'90s one.
remember what season it was, but in one of the episodes, Wolverine goes back to the Weapon X program. Now it's an abandoned place, but there's still research going on there, and he saves her from the program. essentially, and then she was so popular in the cartoon, they brought her over like a year later, I think it was, like over into the comics.
See, that's great.
Yeah.
I love it when stuff like that happens. And Harley Quinn gets mentioned all the time now. She's become a megastar. Like, after this movie, I can honestly see X-23 being a lot of people's favourite character
Well,
from this film.
outside,
Outside,
she's starting to get some more mobility at the moment in the comics, but this is going to push it even further because they have set this up for her, for X-23 for a long time, because she's taken the mantle of Wolverine at the moment in the comics.
which is great, because if you're losing Hugh Jackman and you want to have a new Wolverine but not have the criticism of, this new actor, he can't capture what Hugh Jackman did and all of that, just completely change what kind of Wolverine you're having. Take this version of the Wolverine mantle, and it's a way to avoid a lot of criticism and do something fresh with it, which I applaud.
I mean, the little kid who played X-23 / Lana was really good.
Yeah, was it Lana or Laura?
Laura, that's
Laura,
it, yeah.
Laura.
I think so.
Yeah, she was great, and she had like a really fierce. It's weird. She did this sort of thing with her face when she was going sort of, what's the word, rabid or fierce,
Berserk.
like berserker mode, or yeah. But yeah, she had like this real intensity to her, and like you could see in her eyes, she was really great performance.
Yeah,
She stole the show.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for Hugh Jackman for this film, if this pretty much is his last film, he's gone out high note. He's got no contractual obligations anymore. Don't come back. That you've gone out on a high note.
Got no reason to come back now. This is the perfect end to his character, and
they killed him off.
Yeah, they killed him off, and I was amazed as well. Talking of that, just how much of Patrick Stewart was in this movie. I thought he was going to be in maybe 20 minutes of it at the beginning, and then they would go off on their own.
Yeah,
I did not expect it to be like a road trip movie with Logan and Xavier, like Charles and Logan. That was great, and it was a really nice send off for Charles as well. Like his funeral, he died in a really sort of gut wrenching way, but
yeah, it made you hate the villains even more, which was good because it actually gave it more impact when Logan does fight them at the very end of the film.
And when Logan is standing over Charles's grave, like where he's buried him, and he loses. He's trying to speak, but he can't really. Like I couldn't even make out what he was saying. Like he was.
He kept uttering the word lake and water, and he just couldn't get past the word water. And then X-23 tried to comfort him, but he just walks off and just wrecks his car.
Yeah,
he just loses it.
Yeah, his car won't start. That was just great. It was perfect Wolverine as well. Like he's not a man of words, and he doesn't know what to say in that moment. He's a broken man. It was just. I thought it was just a fantastic way to go out with this character. I can't see them. I don't know what other story you could have done and say this is definitely the last one.
Yeah, well, I mean,
this movie's designed to be the last one. This actor does like this.
Yeah, well, I mean. It's like a swan song for Wolverine as a character because
and for Charles.
Yeah, and Hugh Jackman, because a lot of people don't seem to forget the first X-Men film was back in 2000. He's been doing this for 17 years, you know.
Yeah. So, and Patrick Stewart was. I mean, that's one of the things I love about this is the fact that it is such a send off to Patrick Stewart as well. Yeah. But think how old he was when he started the X-Men films. Okay, in real life he seems to be like immortal because he doesn't seem to have aged since the 90s because he looks the same in Star Trek. But at the same time, he's getting on a bit. Okay, he's in a wheelchair for the things. It's not like he's running around and doing stunts, but yeah, he's been doing this just as long as Hugh Jackman has. He probably wants to give it a rest by now as well. And fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, the comparison I can make to Old Man Logan with this as well is that Charles Xavier essentially takes the Hawkeye role from Old Man Logan, so he's the one that travels with him through this whole entire journey. But again, like I said, they couldn't use a lot of the elements from it. But the one element that they did keep from Old Man Logan, kind of, is why there's no more mutants. They kept it very vague, you know?
Yeah, you sort of get the idea that Charles has had a freak out. Like he's had one of these seizures that you see throughout the movie, and maybe this one went on too long and people actually died.
Yeah,
And there's this just idea that maybe he was connecting to all these mutants at the time. I don't know. Maybe it was a mutant gathering of some kind. But
Yeah,
somehow a lot of mutants have died as a result.
yeah. The only way
You
I could
also
see
get
that
the
happening
idea.
if he was in Cerebro and he basically because they didn't beat around the bush. He has fits and seizures.
Yeah.
And when he does, he just loses control of all his powers. And I think that's probably what happened. He might be in Cerebro, he had a fit or seizure, and he just lost control of his control. And keep in mind, when he attached in Cerebro, and they made this very, very clear in the continuity of the films, because it was the plot of the second film, if you remember, they wanted to kill off every single mutant on the planet through Cerebro. So we know that's possible.
Yeah.
That's my theory on it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, I don't know, it's just that's perfect as well because it does harken back to some previous films. And it's amazing. You don't have to have seen any of the previous films,
Yeah.
but if you have, there are tiny little things here and there. Like when he talks about the Statue of Liberty and he was like, the Statue of Liberty was a long time ago, Charles.
Yeah, which I
And
like.
it turns out actually it is still related to the future, but Logan's mind immediately goes back to X-Men 1.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, it's like why there's no more mutants as well. This again, I'm linking this to Old Man Logan the comic, but there's a bit when Logan meets Emma Frost in the comic, right?
Mm.
And she says that we were just a genetic blip on the radar, you know?
Yeah, there was a very similar line to that in the movie.
Exactly, yeah, and they kept that in, which is very interesting. Like Logan said,
Oh, yeah, we maybe instead of the next stage of evolution, maybe we were just God's mistake or something, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, so they kept that element from it. It's like really minor stuff they kept from the original comic, but it was enough that they can use in the film. But all the material they came up with, brilliantly done, you know.
And I tell you what, as well, that I can't say enough for the performances in this film. We've already talked about X-23, but just Hugh Jackman's performance as Logan, his best performance ever in the role.
Oh,
for definite. For me.
He was dramatic. He was dark. He was humorous when he needs to be. And
I'd say he was almost Oscar worthy. Actually, no, I'd say he was Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
And Patrick Stewart as well should be nominated for Best Supporting Actor because he was amazing.
Yeah, very good. And
very heartbreaking, but also seriously funny at times. Like this movie wasn't scared to go humorous at times. Like if there's comedy in a situation, it acknowledges it, and like not in a tacked on like one-liner joke kind of way.
It's like, for instance, to give you an idea now, thinking about a humorous bit, it's when they're in the car and Charles says to Logan, I need to go to the toilet. So he takes him to the toilet, and because he's in a wheelchair, he can't walk, he literally picks him up, puts him on the toilet, and
I'm not going if you're watching me.
It's like,
trust me, I'm not looking.
Okay, he said, fuck off, Logan. You know.
Fuck off, Logan.
Which is, you know,
that so many times. Just fuck off, Logan.
Yeah, which is brilliant. And because the thing with Charles Xavier character that Patrick Stewart did a good job with, that he plays Professor X as he normally does, but he added the element to him, someone who was in his 90s, losing his mind.
He doesn't give a shit anymore either.
But he was losing his mind, and he was gaining dementia, and he was in fits and seizures, like someone who was getting really old and just, you know, deteriorating. You know, someone who's deteriorating, sadly, you know.
Yeah. And it was heartbreaking to see. And I mean, was it his first line in it? But I swear Xavier's first line was like, go fuck yourself or something like that. Like, Logan comes in and he's like, how you doing today, Charles? He's like, go fuck yourself, Logan.
Yeah. It's pretty much, it was weird. It's even funnier if you're, I think if you're a comic book fan, it's just a weird thing. Imagine just seeing Charles Xavier telling Wolverine to fuck off. It's just, that's just funny within itself, you know?
Oh, it was great. I don't know. I just think Patrick Stewart might be my favourite thing about this movie. Yeah. It was such a nice surprise because I expected to love him in it anyway because he's just a fantastic actor. Yeah. But I didn't expect him to be in it for quite so much. But two, man, what a performance!
Oh god, yeah.
Like that's not just the best performance as Wolverine, but maybe the best Charles Xavier performance, even if it is like an older, deteriorated version, as you say.
Yeah,
You can see the old characters are still in there, which is...
One person I was really surprised with who did a really good performance as well was Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, Stephen Merchant's really come into his own as an actor recently.
Yeah, really good. and he went all this prosthetic stuff and everything like that as well, you know. And he went out as a hero as well, and really pulled that off as well, you know.
Yeah, like he was cooperating with the bad guys for a bit because they were torturing him. Like, of course he's going to. Like, he's not a strong man. They can torture him literally just by having sunlight go onto his skin. Like, that's all it requires. But when he is able to get hold of those grenades and he blows himself and some of the others up, just great. And Richard E. Grant, I didn't even know was in this movie, and he was amazing.
You know what I mean? The character he plays, I can't remember Steve Merchant's character called. Was it
Steve Caliban?
Canaban. He's a weird character. He's like a character that appeared in the early 80s. And he tracks mutants. That's his whole stick. And like I said, we were just mentioning, you know, that's what they were using for. But they were torturing him at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So you did feel for him. And also, he was funny as well. He had humorous as well. But
yeah, he was sort of telling Logan off a little bit. Like, he was sort of nagging at him a little bit.
Yeah.
It was quite funny. I don't know. It's quite funny seeing Stephen Merchant, especially because like watching The Office and Extras when him and Gervais's career was just starting to take off. Like he was in Extras and he made no bones about the fact that he wasn't an actor, and you can see behind the scenes like how long it took to get a performance out of him because he really had no experience, and like to see how far he's come as an actor is pretty great.
Yeah,
he's obviously learned a lot in the short time he's been acting.
Yeah, I think as well, getting away from the actors, but I think the settings, the props, the special effects, the practical effects were also amazing, you know?
Yeah, and so much blood.
Yeah.
The gore was great.
Yeah.
The practical effects were great.
Yeah. I think one of the themes that I really like throughout this as well, especially with the kids, that at the end when they do, just before they get to the end of the film, when they meant to get to, I can't remember the name of the place now.
Eden.
Eden, yeah. All the kids sort of idolized the X-Men because they read the comics and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, the beard thing, yeah.
And I thought to myself, it would have been such a good moment if they would have had it. Maybe one of the kids had like a replica Wolverine outfit, you know.
I don't know. I mean,
I can understand why it's not there.
I wanted at some point for Hugh Jackman to wear the suit.
Yeah.
But in the context of this movie, I'm fine with it not being there. Because in this, maybe hanging up in the background where in the tank that Xavier's living in, that would make some sense. But wearing it, I'm not sure he'd actually have any reason to.
I know. It's
except for the armor. Film. Like, he needs armor.
Yeah. It's a very solid film, and I can understand why it's not there. That's my minor nitpick about the whole entire film, and apart from that, I can't think of anything. I would say...
Plus, actually thinking about it, he's an old man now. He's put on a little bit of weight. It's like part of the thing. Maybe he just genuinely doesn't fit in the suit anymore. He can't wear it.
But no. But I like that idea that essentially the X-Men basically... people use their likeness and basically told these stories about them, you know, and because these kids read these comics, they idolized Wolverine. You see the comic, even one of them has like a toy Wolverine as well at the end when they're doing like a little funeral for him, you know. And
when he's asleep and the kids start trimming his beard with the scissors so he's got the mutton chops again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty great. But one thing with the comic was in X-Men canon, is it Colossus that usually draws X-Men comics? Isn't there a history with X-Men comics within X-Men comics?
Yeah, I think there is. I'm not the biggest X-Men fan. That's the only problem. I think
that's the problem with me. I don't know. Yeah. I heard it was Colossus, and I just think it was a shame that they didn't say like one of the X-Men actually drew these, and like just mention.
Maybe in Deadpool 2 you can have like Colossus as turn up as a carrier, and then he's the one behind the drawing all the comics.
See, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah, that would be perfect. But I don't know how they're going to get X-23 back to the present unless. I mean, I don't know anything about these next X-Men projects, so for all I know, New Mutants is just about the kids from the end of this.
Well,
which would be great. That would be a perfect jumping-off point for the new franchise.
To be fair, if you're Fox, you don't care about timelines and continuity. To be fair. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and this is the one movie where the timeline wasn't bogged down by details. Like, you can easily watch this and not have to even think about the other movies.
I think the last shot of the film was really good. It's basically when they're having the funeral. I know I mentioned this already, but when X-23 is the last one to leave the gravesite, and beforehand she's crying her eyes out and saying "Daddy" and everything like that, and that got my fiance crying when that started happening.
Oh, did she actually cry? I didn't know.
That got her, and
She did moan to me that Hugh Jackman didn't take his shirt off.
But she loves Hugh Jackman.
I said he's playing an old man. She said he's still extremely fuckable.
Yeah. My fiance loves Hugh Jackman. I can't blame her for that.
She cracks me up though.
Yeah.
That was just brilliant.
But I love the fact that they put like the cross up like a normal like religious cross, but she took the cross and turned it sideways to make it into X instead, and I was like, perfect.
Yeah, when that happened, I think I even whispered to myself, I just like, fucking A.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was just a shame that the last second before it cut to credits that the dirt started to rise from the ground.
Yeah.
And because I mean, I guess they got to have him back for Justice League, but yeah. Anyway, so out of 10, is there actually no? Before we go to a mark out of 10, is there anything we've forgotten? Oh, I'll just say I think the trailers showed a lot more of the Mexico scenario, like and all like wilderness and stuff like that. I wasn't expecting modern day like cities to look so shiny.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of neon going on.
They gave the vibe that it was more of a Fallout slash The Last of Us vibe.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be almost post-apocalyptic.
Yeah,
and it really wasn't.
No. It was like because they said, "Oh yeah, it's 2029 or something like that," didn't they? You know, and yeah, it was fine.
See, I thought when I saw the trailers and stuff, and there was all the dust around, like I was getting a serious Mad Max vibe.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe we were going to see the cities and it was going to be like, I don't know, destruction from the last mutant war or something, and that would have been interesting. But I don't know, I just loved the movie, so we might as well just go to the rank out of 10. Personally, I loved this movie. It's the highest rated X-Men movie I've given so far. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, I'll give it the same.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening, and be sure to tune in again whenever the next comic book movie comes out. What is the next one? Is it Guardians?
Guardians in May, yes.
Yeah, so we'll be doing another review in May. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, go fuck yourselves.
Bye.
Hey guys, Armin here, just reminding you that this video was made possible thanks to patrons. If you guys are interested in supporting us and making sure we keep the lights on, check out our Patreon where you can join other fans in supporting the CBC, delivering content you guys have come to love and expect. And if you can't do that, give us a like and a subscribe. That goes a long way too.